Okay, everyone, I think it's time for us to get started. I'll start with a quick microphone check. If I can get a hello or a yes, you can hear me in the chat, we'll get started. In the meantime, I'll be reading the disclaimer here before we get with our video. The following videos, clips, demonstrations are for educational and instructional purposes only. TradingView provides these videos purely for the purpose of demonstrating a method of using the product. Users understand that the content used in the video is purely for demonstration purposes only and is not a guide and does not provide any indication of or prediction of actual results. As a user, you understand and agree that hypothetical results obtained through the demonstration do not indicate in any way the results you may receive on using our products. Okay, I see D. Hyde and Frank Cuevas were confirming the sound, and we're good to go. Good. Let me just again make a quick introduction of myself and who we are. My name is Brian Benatti. I don't have it on the slides today, but that is still my name. I'll be guiding you today through the Trading Basics series. Again, we're starting with the Vitamin T series, where we're focusing on specific topics that are going to build ourselves up into very advanced topics and help other people grow in their trading. With AutoUFOs, we provide the technology to become mechanical in trading and find buying and trading and selling opportunities in any market. I'll be doing a little demo of that today before we get started with the lesson. So here's a trade that I actively took this past Monday on August 12th using the S&P 500. We can see that the AutoUFOs is showing a sell signal for this market in the S&P on the 2-minute time frame. I put it in order at this light blue line for a sell order and a stop just above it. If you are confused about all the terminology that I'm using here, don't worry, I will be covering a lot more detail on not only the AutoUFOs and how to set it up, but also very basic trading videos on what order entries are, what stop losses are used for, and etc. So hang in with us. I believe it's always good for us to get some information in the beginning, even if we're not super familiar with it. Once we do get the information, it's like an aha moment and it clicks and we can continue. So back here to the example, this again was this past Monday. I put in the sell order as we have the sell order signal from the UFO at this 2902.75 zone. So the market did finally get up to us. We can see in the beginning it almost came up and started dropping and then finally came back up, just touched my limit entry and dropped from there about 40 points. I was able to ride it using a lot of the rules that Jose has taught us, and I rode it for about 30 points myself. But the fact that the UFOs were able to provide me a mechanical system where I didn't have to second guess myself really was probably one of the smoothest trades in terms of my emotional state. And it's very important when it comes to trading because our emotions are probably the #1 reason for mistakes or losses in the market. So let's go ahead, and I'm having an issue here with my slide. It should all be in one system here. There we go. So let me go over the summary real quick of what we'll be covering today in today's video. First, I'll be showing you real quick how to set up your TradingView platform service. And then I'll be going into the chart setups for TradingView, going into detail with how to customize your symbols, change the time frames, and create multiple linked charts, because it's very important for us to get multiple time analysis whenever we are trading live. Real quick before I continue, last time I was pausing for questions and I found it kind of disruptive. So if you guys have any questions while I'm presenting these slides and going through the chart setups, go ahead and leave it in the chat box, and I'll either answer it toward the end of the slides or the lesson itself, or I'll notice the question as it comes up, and if it's relevant, I'll pause and explain or help answer that question. So back to our slides here. Again, for some reason it's stepping through, so I didn't really want this. There we go. So TradingView, what is it? It's simply an online platform, different than other places where it's also a broker. This is just the platform itself, and it will provide us the charts that we need to actively trade any market. It's available for desktop and mobile, and I've played around a lot with the mobile application, and it's by far one of the fastest and most responsive mobile apps out there, and I definitely recommend trying it out, even if you're not planning on trading on mobile. It's really nice. And how do you sign up? Well, if you follow this link, tradewithufos.com/bb, you'll be guided through on how to sign up. It'll also take you through our own indicator, which I showed earlier with the AutoUFOs. And once you go through that process, it'll also give you the option to go and sign up on TradingView, which is a separate service than ours, but we definitely recommend it because of its features. And you can sign up for their unplayed plan, which will give you their simplest service and only allows one chart. We do recommend the Pro plan, and let me see if I have any of it set up here. Yes, I do. I'll bring up the website real quick. So once you go through the initial application process through our website and here at tradewithufos.com, it'll eventually guide you to this page here. And if you're already set up in TradingView, then you'll input your name and your TradingView username, etc. Fill this in so that we can provide you the indicator if you're signed up. And then if you're not signed up with TradingView, then you can come through this bottom portion of the web page and click on this click here for all TradingView plans, etc. And it will take you straight through TradingView, and you'll be able to see the different plans available for you to sign up. And of course, below it here, it'll show you all the different perks and the different plans that they provide themselves. I would highly recommend getting the Pro version. I was personally using the Pro version for a very long time, but since I am going to be conducting a few sessions, I wanted to make sure I was geared up a little more and signed up for the Pro Plus. The initial rate is a little higher in the beginning. So whenever I signed up for the first month, for example, with the Pro Plus, it was probably around $30. You can confirm this yourself later. But because TradingView wants to make sure you're continuing as a customer, they always provide you with perks for continuing with them. So I could sign up for half of the amount that I initially did. And that's also available in this Pro plan as well. We are running quick on time, so I better get back to our slides and show you really quick before we finish the slides. Before we get started with the live demo, I will show you kind of the ideal setup that we have for ourselves when we are conducting online sessions for live trading. It'll just be a guide for you or a reference point of what the chart looks like and should look like on your end. So this is going to be the, again, I'll guide you through how to set this up, but this is what the final product should look like. So you can see that we have 4 different charts, and they're all of the same asset. In this case, it's the euro-dollar forex market. It also has special time frames. So the bottom left corner is going to be our common time frame. Again, if you're not familiar with this terminology of common time frame and edge time frames, you can either go to our YouTube channel where there's an extensive amount of information there, or I'll be covering it also in future sessions. So anyway, this common time frame on the bottom left corner, and the rest of them are going to be our edge time frames. And then finally, we can activate all of our indicators with TradingView. So make sure that on the common time frame, we have the EMA activated and the DMI. indicators. And finally, on the edge time frames, you want to make sure you have the AutoUFOs indicator for each one of them. And that'll help you get started and make sure that you're on the same page with us. I see D-Hide is asking if we're going to be doing this type of information for TradeStation. Absolutely, D-Hide. Yeah, I am planning on working on that after I get through all the TradingView sessions. But yes, that is in the probably September we'll get started with that. I see Orlando's asking for the file templates that Jose uses so we can upload them and save time. Orlando, I'm not exactly sure what templates you're mentioning. Could you be more specific? I'll come back and answer that. So let's get going with a live demo on how to set everything up. So after you've gone through the sign up process in TradingView, you'll open a chart, and this is pretty much what it'll look like. It's just one larger chart, contains a random symbol. Mine is currently for the S&P because I was just looking at it, but it also contains a volume indicator and etc. So what we want to do real quick is explore a couple of the markets that we covered on our previous session. So we first started with stocks, and one of the examples was the S&P 500 stock indicator. For us to do that, we remember that the indicator ticker symbol is SPY, and it'll give me a list of all the different options and different markets or exchanges that the S&P 500 is available in. I think the standard is going to be this American one, so we could either click here or press enter. But in case you're tabbed into any of these other markets, like if you're accidentally in futures or Forex, you're going to see no symbols matched and you might be confused. So make sure you're in the corresponding asset that you want to be in. So I'd have to be in stock or in all, and it'll show me everything. So pressing enter is going to update my chart to the S&P 500 stock index. I'm currently now going to be in a 2-minute chart, and that's for me as well because I was using that. But you can change this by clicking on it and going into a different chart. So let's say I wanted to look at the 15-minute, and just click on it and it'll update the whole chart with the 15-minute zone. So that's how you change time frames. Finally, let's go ahead and add multiple charts because it's very important for us to get a big picture of what is happening in the market as we're live trading. We don't want to be stuck in one time frame. We want to make sure we have an understanding of a larger time frame as well as these smaller edge time frames that we can trade off of. So if you have the Pro plan or above, you're able to add multiple charts into one single window. And you can do that with the top right corner here. It says select layout. You click it and it'll give you several different options for your layout. For the Pro section, you're only going to be able to do 2. So if that's your case, you click this one and it'll do a top and a bottom for you. In my case, I have the Pro Plus, and it's good for us when we're doing live sessions. So I click on this foregrid down below. And before we continue, make sure that all of these charts are linked, showing that same market across all of them. And to do that, we can click here, and so here it says sync on all charts. You just make sure that we click symbol, and that'll guarantee that every chart that I change the ticker symbol for one, all of them will be updated at once. I don't want to be using the same time frame for all of them or the interval. You can disable the crosshair, but I personally like it just so I can see what different price points are at different markets as well. I'm sorry, at different charts of the same market. Okay, so now we have our four charts and they're all linked. I don't want to go too far deep into indicators today because I'll be covering it more in depth in our next session so that I can give a more detailed and comprehensive idea of how to use AutoUFOs. But I do want to show you guys how to get rid of indicators if they are on your chart and you don't want them there. That you can do that very simply by looking below your ticker or your chart window is going to be a ticker and an explanation of what time frame you're in for that chart, etc. And if below it there's anything, that means there's an indicator on your chart. And we can either hide it by clicking the little eye here on the left, or we can click the settings here and we can change any of the visuals or the inputs for this particular indicator. And finally, well, in our case, we can get rid of it because we don't really want the volume indicator for these charts. So we're going to click on the X for this chart, this one, and this one. There we go. So we have a little bit of a cleaner setup now, and that's the majority of it. So the final step I'm going to do before going into some miscellaneous things is going to be our time frames. So again, if you're using the Pro plan, you're able to customize your charts into custom time frames. If you don't have it, you'll have to use more standard time frames, which would be the 5 minutes, the 15, not the 21. This is, again, all part of my own setup, so I'm going to get rid of them so I don't confuse you guys. 55 as well. Okay, so you're able to select these default time frames. So in my case, I'm just going to use a 5 minute as an example, but if you have custom ones, make sure you follow our guidelines for active trading. So this top corner, top left corner chart is now set to a 5 minute chart. I'm going to set this bottom time frame to our common time frame of 15 minutes. And again, usually we have different setups here for the edge time frame, but that's only available if you're in the Pro TradingView setup or activation. So we can see these are in different time frames. I could even change this top right one, even though this isn't considered a edge time frame. I'll change it to a day, and I'll change the bottom right one to a week time frame. So play around with this. Definitely getting familiar with the platform is very important for you to be adaptable when it comes time to trading. So all you're focusing on is the trading itself, and you don't get distracted by the fact that you can't find what time frame you're in, and etc. So just another couple of things on the miscellaneous that you can do. You can maximize the current window that you have selected. So if I want to maximize this 5 minute chart, I can click here on the top left. And then on the bottom right, we have this maximize chart toggle window, and it will maximize that specific chart. Now, nothing else has gone away. It's still there. So if you want to go back to what you had before, all you have to do is click on the bottom right, and it'll restore that. Let me look at the chat real quick. Is there any data fee charges for futures? I believe so, Al. If you are using TradingView, I believe there is a standard monthly fee. You'll have to go into TradingView itself and look at their plans and what their data feeds cost. I believe I checked recently is maybe $2 a month for certain markets, etc. But please do your own research and don't rely on just what I'm saying. I see Jose here was answering a couple questions for Jose. Thank you. For Orlando. Thank you, Jose. Oh, it looks blurry. I'll have to look into my settings. Everything looks pretty decent on my end. Sorry about the blurriness. But this is the core that I want to cover today. Again, next session, I'll be covering how to add the indicators. Most importantly, we want to make sure we have the AutoUFOs working so that we can be ready for any trading sessions live that we have for ourselves, or if you're accompanying with us in our live trading sessions that Jose shows on a weekly basis. I don't see any more questions. I think I'm going to not pause for too long because I thought last time was a little too long again. If you have any questions, again, make sure to reach us at, let me pull up our email. You can reach me specifically at bb@tradective.com. And earlier I noticed that I didn't say my name wasn't here. Just pretend that's not true. It's right here on the bottom right. Sorry about that. You can reach me here at bb@tradective.com. Or if you have any general questions for us, you can reach us also at reach@tradective.com. I'm sorry, reach at tradewithautoufos.com. I keep getting those confused as well. And we'll catch up with you guys again on Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific time or 7 p.m. Eastern time. And we'll be covering indicators and specifically how to use the AutoUFOs app with TradingView itself. So thanks again for tuning in, guys. This was the first session of the vitamin T pills of the TradingView system. I'm glad you all could join us live, and we'll catch up with you guys on Monday. Oh, one last thing before I forget. I will be again on that Discord server. I'll have it in the link below. Anyone is welcome to come. You don't have to be a subscriber to anything, but if you subscribe to our channel, you can stay up to date with what our posts are. We have now almost 5 different videos that we post per week and sessions live as well. So make sure to join us, and thanks again.